Hello everybody, welcome to the instant match reaction after Liverpool got their Premier League title. Attack? Defence? No, it's attack, isn't it? We didn't do much defending today, Paul. In our 4-3 victory, maybe Liverpool took that one a little bit too seriously from Jurgen Klopp. Yeah. So we're here to discuss the game in depth and detail. So get your comments in as well. You can obviously join in, ask us questions in the comment section. I'll be reading through some of them. I'm obviously joined by Paul for this one. 60 league games unbeaten at Anfield, Paul, and people are fucking throwing their toys out the pram.
Jinx. This is going to be fun doing this on my own. Brilliant. People love a whinge, don't they, Chris? I think ultimately,
60 league games unbeaten at Anfield. Yeah. 60.
It's bollocks.
60 league games.
Look, I think it's fair to say, and we were talking about this the other day. I don't see miserable comments as a barometer for how people really feel about things. I think you can have it as a barometer of how hard life is in general at the moment. But Liverpool came up against a really well organised, really well disciplined Leeds side, and they did what they've done to pretty much everyone who's come to Anfield over the last 3 seasons.
Beat them.
And that's beaten them. Very few, we've drawn a few here and there, but we don't lose at Anfield, and that's continued. So if people, I think we've seen some comments saying like Liverpool have been, in fact you mentioned it on the build-up show, like Liverpool have been in inconsistent form since February or what have you. And I think a lot of people have tried to tack on that restart stuff once the league was won, and saying that is indicative of a trend exactly leading into this. Well, maybe, but Liverpool have just put 3 points on the board, and at this point of the season, just do that. Just getting your first win on underway, given all the circumstances, that's the most important.
What did you actually make of the performance, though, mate? I mean, look, we concede 3 goals, but we score 4.
I really enjoyed the game today. I'm a Liverpool fan, and I'm a fan of football, and we watch some dire games of football. The Reds playing some dire games at times, and I don't know what people would rather have. I would rather win 4-3 than win 1-0. And I don't think Klopp would rather that. I think he would rather win 1-0 and have a nice clean sheet and Alisson Becker to be made up with it. But we do this is a pastime. I don't give a fuck really whether Liverpool keep clean sheets. I just want Liverpool to win games of footy. And I think actually Leeds, the way that game went was probably exactly what we needed. Particularly when you've got no crowd, Leeds almost did the job of the crowd for us.
Like geeing us up.
Yeah, to say to these lads, go on then. We dig deep and find something more to go, and I got the real sense from the players on the pitch today that they see that it's not going to happen at a canter, and they want to go, particularly the attacking lads. I don't know what to say about the defensive lads.
Well, I've been looking at the stats. I'll go through a few of them now with you as well. Liverpool had 22 shots today against Leeds 6. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And 6 of those were on target. They had 13 block shots. We created 3 big chances. 17 shots we had from inside the area. This isn't a side that played badly. No. This is a side that was stifled, or Leeds played well defensively. But also 22 shots in a game of footy. That's brilliant against a very good side, and a side that played very well. Not just a good side, a side that is good and played well.
There's one of the 2 sides there is going to be needing the ice bath more than the other today, and that's the Leeds players, mainly the defenders. The amount of blocks and putting the body on the line and doing all these things, they were at the edge. Liverpool built up really nicely. I mean, I can think of 5 or 6 firmly struck, mainly from Sadio Mane, firmly struck shots that were just, that were blocked off by them. The defensive lapses and a couple of really nice moments, I think, from Leeds kind of cost us. But Liverpool, this is my point. Look at the poor games of football that Liverpool have played, and I think Aston Villa, was it? It was the game we played. In fact, it was Aston Villa after lockdown, after the restart. I keep doing that. After the restart, when we won, but we were fucking shocking, and it was just a really drab game of footy. We created chances, we took chances, we were dangerous in all kinds of different ways, and yet you could still say Firmino didn't have a great game. Mane probably didn't have a great game. Gini didn't have a great game. All these lads could have come away with a couple of goals each on another day. They're the standards. Great. That, for me, feels like I had good fun. I enjoyed the game. We won, and we had loads of room where I'd go, if you just improve on that, we'll be better.
Well, the one guy who's had the best game, the man of the match easily for us is Mo Salah. I mean, he was absolutely incredible today. He gets a hat-trick. He's now up to 50 Premier League goals at Anfield, I think it is. So he's now 4th on the list there as well. I think Robbie maybe is 86, has probably got the most Premier League goals for us, something like that. He was absolutely scintillating. He had his man on toast all game long and deserves that match ball, doesn't he?
Yeah, like Salah, and I remember saying this at a couple of points last season. I think we forget how good Mohamed Salah is, and I don't know why that is. It just it's a thing. He played like he was one of the best players in world football today.
Shock he is.
Yeah, no, absolutely. He owned that pitch. He was a constant threat. He wasn't one-dimensional, which I think he can be sometimes, and he certainly was last season. The Mo Salah who's tasked with, you've got to be the guy that scores the goals, that wins the games for us, I don't think is quite as good at times. I think he does his own head in, which is mad because he's the guy today who scores the goals that wins us the game. He was that guy without trying to be that guy.
But back end of the last season, he was trying to be that guy, and when he plays with a bit more freedom and he's not so focused on the goals, it sounds stupid. He's got a hat-trick, not focused on goals, but he just plays better, and the team plays better for it as well, doesn't it? I mean,
his job was to make them dance today.
Absolutely, and he does. Check Josh in the comments, thank you very much. Super chat, a game where we turned a potential banana skin into a win. We should be encouraged and happy. I think you've hit the nail on the head there, to be honest with you, because there's loads of things there, like you said, where you can pick apart. So you can go, Liverpool could have been a bit better in this phase of play. Liverpool could have been a bit better there. That was poor from Virgil van Dijk. But conversely, the flip side of all that is how good Liverpool were at times during the game. Think of that one where Mane and Salah are playing 1-2s. I mean, that is absolute liquid football that I think is probably far and away better than what I expected from the first game of the season. You're expecting teams to just sort of find their way into the game at the moment, and Liverpool came out playing great footy.
The big criticism of Liverpool last season was the front three. Salah and Mane. Like, if you remember, last season started around this time, actually last year, it was the end of September, or start of September, end of August, and Mane goes off against Burnley and he's fuming because Salah's not passed the ball to him. Yeah. And that was the story for about a month after that. Can they link up? As Mane and Salah felt, can they work together, etc., etc. I saw, and it looks a bit foolish when you do this, when it doesn't quite work out in terms of the scoreline. They were laughing, they were enjoying themselves, they were having good fun. They were enjoying playing the football. And they're made to look actually a bit foolish by the defence. And Liverpool's defence is not an issue. Liverpool got an amazing defence. They've got an amazing system for defending. They've got some great individual players in there as well. That was the thing about it. We were on top. We were creating. We were looking really good. Keita, I thought, had a really good game as well. Really creative, getting up and supporting the attack, give and goes. Did some dirty work really well as well. All the lads were doing really well. But we conceded 3 goals. And it was like, they were laughing, they were enjoying it, and then Leeds have scored again. It was like, like they couldn't wrap it
against the run of play as well, wasn't it? And that's the thing, I think Wijnaldum's had a good couple of opportunities from inside the box. He probably should have stuck at least one of those 2 opportunities away. You mentioned there, Keita. What I think's interesting, and we haven't really talked about it because it didn't happen, but there wasn't an over-reliance on Robertson and Trent today. And I think that was one of the big storylines going into this season so far, wasn't it? Is, what happens when Trent's worked out? Well, we didn't really even attempt to play that way today.
I think a slight caveat to that, I think with about 6 or 7 minutes to go, when we were chasing it a bit, we did a little bit get to the Trent just starts playing deep crosses in kind of thing. But it actually, because we'd not been going to that well all game long, it was actually different, and it meant that a new set of challenges, like go and head these away cleanly. And what it meant was we were getting bodies, and because we caused them a couple of problems, obviously Virgil from corners would give them a little bit of a torrid afternoon as well, that it wasn't working directly. I don't think the crosses were great crosses, but they were putting them into the right sort of areas and making them defend. And at that point, when your back's to the wall and you look and you've got like a point in sight, or maybe even we can still nick something here. You're then thinking, I've got to defend perfectly when you're tired and all this kind of stuff. You're right. I think it was we didn't over rely on it, but it's telling that it makes it more. It definitely makes it more effective when you're not using it all game long.
I've got another super chat coming here from Scott Hawks again. Thank you so much, Scott. Liverpool finds a way to win a tough game. Story of last season, and that's a massively encouraging thing, isn't it? It's that we had to go to the well. We dug deep, but we did finish the game. Let's give let's give Leeds a bit of credit here. They're a good side, a very good side, and they've got a way of playing, and it caused us some issues. And I think on a normal day, had Liverpool been a bit better defensively, because I don't think we were great defensively. You know, that ball that, you know, Van Dijk makes the mistake for, it's just a looped hit and hope over the top, and he either should head it back to the goalkeeper, leave it for the goalkeeper, or put a little bit more on it and get it to Robbo, was it?
It's right, and then look, whether it's by accident or design, if that ball's slightly overhit, Alisson just has it. If it's slightly underhit, Virgil just completely has it. It fell in a really weird position, as you say, because Virgil's then stuck. The only way he can really clear, and I said at the time, it feels to me like he's trying to set Robertson off so we can start a counter-attack. If that's what he's done, Virgil van Dijk is entitled to do that because he's the best defender in the world. Sometimes when you try to do the brilliant stuff, it's a very fine line between exceptional and utter catastrophe and failure. And in that instance, he's fucked that up, and it's cost us a goal. Shit happens. This notion that there's some deeper, rooted problem. Again, rewind the clock 12 months. Norwich gave us a real game. Norwich came at us, pinging balls over the top, very, very Route One-ish. Pucky chasing things down, and they gave us a game. We've seen this before. Even Burnley have done that to us at times, coming to Anfield. Sometimes when you play a high line, if you can play a perfect, you are open to a perfect ball. But I think there's a percentages at work in how Liverpool defend, and they trust that more often than not, it's going to be fine.
Do you know the thing that does my fucking head in about people talking about the high line? Right, it's all part of our press.
Yeah.
That's what it's there for. It's not just four lads who are completely disparate to the rest of the team. There's a whole reason. If Liverpool have a deep back line, then teams can get out of our press so much easier. So it's all part and parcel of our identity as a football side.
We played a game of 11-a-side. Last game of 11-a-side I ever played, and we played it like a friendly charity match when we both played centre-half on opposing teams. And the second half, my team played a high line. Right, we literally sat on the halfway line, and all that was happening was your team was just battering it over the top. The lad there up front was well faster than us, and he was onside every time because he was in his half. And I not played enough centre half, and also didn't give a shit enough to City. We played a high line because I didn't know what the fuck I was doing in organising the defence, and I played with a bunch of people who clearly never played at the back or played 11-a-side before. So we played a high line. That's a problematic high line. When you like, you know what I mean? When Liverpool with Jurgen Klopp and Pep Linders, who are tactical geniuses in the football world, have a defence that's got the best centre half in the world and the best goalie / sweeper keeper, or one of it in that role in there. It's all part of the plan. So when it doesn't quite come off, it's one of two things. It's either a bit of rustiness, it's either some perfection in attacking or luck in an attacking sense from the opponent. And again, it's just sometimes it's just that it's the first game of the season, and Liverpool aren't at their absolute imperious best just yet. Shit happens.
Okay, one of the big talking points coming out of the game is the midfield, isn't it? I think, going into the game, it was a talking point. Are we going to play 4-3-3? Are we going to play 4-2-3-1? Ultimately, that changes the midfield, doesn't it? We go in there, we have Wijnaldum, we have a surprise Jordan Henderson appearance, certainly to me anyway. And, of course, you've got Keita in there. What did you actually make of the midfield? And do you think they were at fault for our performance, or would you give them credit for our performance?
I think I'd need to go and watch it back, if I'm honest, just to see categorically. I don't like the blame game in footy without a conclusive answer on it. I think you called it in commentary. Leeds bypassed the midfield. Leeds went over our midfield, so there wasn't when we had the ball, our midfield functioned really nicely. Again, Keita was good, Henderson was good. You saw it sticks high in the memory because it was one of the last things he did. Won the ball. One moment he won the ball really high up in their half and started to counter attack, which we actually the front three are the ones that kind of cock it up a bit. But I think people have got this notion, and we kind of led into the conversation pretty much about it, that somehow like the Fabinho is this all conquering DM. And he's brilliant and he's world class in some regards, but I'm not convinced it's as clear cut. The problems they caused us, lots of the problems they caused us were in the fullback positions. And Trent Alexander-Arnold hasn't played a game of footy for us since last season. He's just been to England duty, so he hasn't even been training with us in this period as well because he wasn't fully fit. Goes away with England, gets the minutes which he needed, but we've put him in. This is part of Trent's rehabilitation in playing in this game. And Joe Gomez, when he's on it, he's perfect, but he's not young anymore. He's probably like 23, 24 at this point. So he's entering into those years, but he still has moments. You know, he's not Virgil van Dijk, and bearing in mind Virgil van Dijk literally cost us a goal today. So the better defender, more clinically cost us a goal. I think that's where I don't think the midfield takes too much heat on that. I thought the midfield performed well.
And it's also because everyone's talking about Thiago, Andy. That's the big thing. Is like, you know, we needed Thiago today.
What would he have done differently?
Well, but also we show today that we've got strength and depth. And Thiago's a lad that I want Liverpool to sign, by the way.
Yes.
But we also showed that Curtis Jones can come in. Fabinho didn't even start. So there's 5 midfielders. Plus we still had James Milner on the bench there. Ox not even on the bench. Minamino could have dropped into the midfield as well. That you can understand, and it might annoy you, and it might annoy me that we're not going to sign. It doesn't look like it. I still think we might, but I hope that we might. But still, this is an area of the field where we freshened up and we kicked on and got the winner.
It's impossible. It's like saying, would we have been sharper if Fabinho had started? Maybe, but again, look at the positive performance. I think it's easy to kind of just throw things out there without empirical evidence on it. And someone smarter than me might be able to go, well, it's fucking blatantly obvious in all the stats and the analysis that Liverpool would have been better with Fabinho in there. Well, again, Liverpool played. Jordan Henderson needed game time.
Yeah.
He was played in that game to get him up to speed because we've got a lot of games coming and we're going to need Jordan Henderson fit again. He's not had a pre-season because he's been injured since last season. So again, the idea of throwing everyone going, oh, there's problems. There's probably not. We've literally started 2 lads in that game. One of them in Henderson had a really good performance, but people saying maybe the midfield was a bit unbalanced because of it. He was getting up to speed, and Trent had a struggle at times. Another lad who's not played, but getting him up to speed. If Thiago comes in, maybe does he play in the DM there? Does he play? Does he play instead of Genie? Maybe he's better. Mm-hmm. These things for me are not as quantifiable. So, look. There's not a Liverpool fan, I don't think, on earth. I don't like to generalise when I talk about these things, but I don't think anyone doesn't want Thiago Alcantara. Everyone wants him. He's world class. Liverpool will have a much better squad for having another world class player in it. But I think it's a bit simple to say Thiago would have changed, made it different or whatever. We still won the game.
We won the game.
And we got
scored 4 goals.
Fitness.
We created loads of bloody chances.
Yeah.
We were a little bit poor defensively. You know what I mean? Right. Another comment then. If Leeds do well, which I think they will, we'll look back on this game is that we've toppled a giant killing side. That's the thing. I think Leeds are going to be amazing for this type of stuff. Hang on, one more. Angad Kulkami. The game was too fast. We needed Thiago to slow things down. Now the game was played at an absolute breakneck pace today, wasn't it? Yeah. And going back onto the giant killing thing as well. That side will beat some top teams.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're really good. They're a really good side. And maybe that's actually an interesting point there about Thiago slowing things down or whatever. Yeah, but I think Liverpool said it was like racing the Flash. You know, they were right. We're in a foot race here, and Liverpool go, okay, all right, okay, sound. We're having a race, are we? And then racing, and Leeds starting to go. We're going, all right then. Come on then, keep going, keep up, dickhead. You know, and all of a sudden we were dragging them along a bit. And I think in the last 10 minutes, or once we got the goal, I'd have liked us to be a bit canny. And we largely took the ball into the corner, held it up and what have you. But I do think that I think it was by design. I think it suits us, and I think it suits our quest to get back to full fitness as well, for us to run really hard in that game. Leeds, I said it, Leeds were almost now, in hindsight, the perfect opponent, because they give us a really good game, and we've been forced to run our hearts out as well and dig deep and all those things. Great, perfect situation. Like, they didn't play anti-football, they didn't try to stifle us or part the bus and lead to loads of frustrations. It was a good open game of footy, and Liverpool will be better for having done it.
Couple of comments to see us out then. First of all, they're flying now. Johnny Gerlach, Salah was outstanding. I think sometimes we take for granted how good he is off the ball. He creates so much space as well, which is really, really cool. Liverpool only scored from set pieces today. Yeah, I suppose so. What a goal though from Salah. I mean, we've not even mentioned his goal. I mean, perfection. The touch, the finish, it's on a postage stamp or something. I think you said. Yeah. Salah was top class, says our friend Ben Pryor. Rico Great just says sign signings needed. Which, yeah, cool.
Well, can I just have one final thought on this? Because I meant to say this before on Trig Josh's super chat before about Leeds and the giant kill and stuff. We do this every season, by the way. We get a result against the team, or normally it's when we've drawn. So we drew against Watford 3-3.
Yeah, I remember it. First game.
Salah scores his first goal for us, and everyone goes, "Oh my God, we drew with Watford." And then Watford then go on and beat a couple of really good teams. After that, it would be considered our rivals, with no context for how good Leeds United are. My feeling is they're going to cause a lot of problems for teams this season. They might not. They might just completely collapse like a la Norwich. But I think what you'll find is, like, I wouldn't shock me if they gave Man City a really good game this season. And I think what tends to happen, if we look at it and go, "Oh, I'm not sure," blah, 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 they will get a big result, I think, in the first month of the season. And most people will be over it, won't even think about it by then. But I think, when you take a step back, you'll look and go, I think that's a good result, a better result than
Wolves beat City, and everyone's like, "Oh my God, you've got to take them seriously now." They were a good side before, and they beat them again, didn't they? And that's the type of thing, isn't it?
We said against Norwich, Norwich gave us a bloody nose. Yeah. We battered them in the end, but they came and gave us a really good game. And I remember saying, we battered Arsenal, and I was saying to the Arsenal fans, Norwich gave a better account of themselves at Anfield than you did this year. And I was, thought I was taking the piss up, being, I was trying to inflame them or whatever. And then Norwich beat Manchester City at Carrow Road, and all of a sudden it's been forgotten about that, it happened.
They had that type of a start. Well, listen, thank you very much for everyone for joining us as well. We've got some new merchandise, which is absolutely sensational. So we've got the Prem Champs number 19. It's a GTA inspired graphic. We're doing that on a mug, and we're doing it on a t-shirt as well. We've also got the World Champion Street Fighter design. We've done these with a collaboration with a designer called Moving Unit. So go over to the-redmen-tv.myshopify.com where you can buy that. There's a whole host of really, really cool stuff on there as well. It's been an absolute pleasure, Paul. Absolute pleasure, mate.
It is. Winning games of football.
Winning games of football that matter. And a game that was played at such an incredible high intensity. And not only that, we're defo first on Match of the Day.
Oh, gotta be, surely.
100% first on Match of the Day with that.
Or second.
Nah.
Arsenal won 3-0.
Yeah, but he's 7 goals, mate, and like,
three
the ball at the back of
disallowed.
the net 10 frigging times in 94 minutes. It was
Match of the Day.
absolutely superb. Thank you to everybody who's joined us all day, whether you've joined us on Hot Mic for the watch along, or whether you've joined us on YouTube for the watch along for the starting 11. It's been a cracking first day back. We're top of the Premier League. Joint top of the Premier League. I think there's only 3 teams that have had a win. But yeah, we're there. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe, become a member, do all of that great stuff, and buy some fucking merch. See you later.